Evening, everybody. Continuing on with these paint and airbrush videos. You guys seem to like those, so I'll keep going. What's playing in the background is the high speed, about 60 times speed, representing an hour of work that I completely wiped out and started again. This locomotive, as with all, when they are lightly weathered, they're extremely difficult for me to get right. And because on my layout at least, I look at the roof quite a bit, I would notice if I didn't do a good job. So, yeah, playing at 60 times speed, this thing lasts for about a minute, this video, which means 60 minutes of effort. And I just kind of went back and wiped it out. Okay, so one of the reasons I wiped it out is because I didn't mask off the perimeter of the roof. And I kept getting overspray down the sides and had to keep going back with a Q-tip and wiping it out. The other reason I had to wipe it out is because I was trying a new thing with these PBO pens. Very liquidy acrylic paint coming out of these pens, and I only cut them with water in the airbrush. And learning how to use a new medium is quite tricky. And I wanted to do it because the colors were right and the transparency was right. And so here I am again. I think this is my fourth attempt using these new paints. Eventually got it to work, but it was tricky. As you can see right now, wiping it out with a Q-tip is quite easy, and starting again. So yeah, just it's my engine, so I didn't really care about going over it so many times. But I mean, somebody else's. Which I am working on a few commissions right now. I would not be experimenting like this. So right now I'm just trying to get a nice blue base color down that's a little darker than what the Athearn Genesis color was, the original one. Side benefit of having erased this 4 times is that I've now got all the panels lined on the roof. You can see them quite defined very clearly. Yeah, so once I get this blue down, I start going back with the soot coming from the exhaust here. I think I'm actually starting to do that now. If you look at photos of any of these P42s, they put a fairly wide, heavy black soot down the roof. And I think I was explaining earlier in the week, I believe that these units get wiped on the sides when they go through the cleaners at the maintenance facilities, but the roofs don't seem to get scrubbed. So there'll be about a foot on either side on the roof that gets kind of semi-scrubbed, and you see a bit of blue there, which was one of the things I kept getting wrong. I kept going too wide on the soot. So this time I'm trying to leave a bit of blue down each side just to represent where they got cleaned. So what I'm laying down in the center here is XF1 flat black from Tamiya, and I just actually bought that paint about 2 weeks ago. I had been using XF85, which is rubber black, for all of my soot, and I found that it's nice to actually have the variety of both. So what I've been doing lately is using XF1 in the center, and then bordering that with XF85, the rubber black. So the rubber black is a bit lighter black, and the XF1 is the true black. And I find that I wanted the deeper tones, especially around the exhaust vent, just to kind of give it a bit of a variation or a gradation of the blacks. So yeah, I've been doing that on all the new units I've been doing. So you can see that dark black going down the center right now, and that's just going to represent where the heaviest soot is, and then it'll fade away to more rubber black further away from the exhaust vent you go. You may have noticed earlier I took a piece of tape off the roof. That was actually represented in one of the photos for 9/11. What I think happened there was they have these decals that they've been putting down. There's about 7 or 8 of them on the roof, and I'm guessing that they had to scrub the roof clean in order to put a new decal down. So I'm representing that using that. So here I am cleaning up the sides from a bit of overspray. Even with the little skinny piece of tape I put down there, I was still getting some overspray, so not too worried. A little bit of 70% IPA, some water, and a Q-tip, and a little bit of scrubbing, and it comes off. Yeah, I don't, as I said before, I don't dull coat my models anymore. I don't like the appearance of it. So now switching onto the underside here, this is just a mixture of buff, which is XF57, NATO brown XF68, and a slight tinge of X6, which is orange, and sometimes I use a bit of hull red as well. It's XF9. So I'm just going around the bottom here, adding a base color, and just trying to get a bit of dirtiness down. So I didn't do too much brush work before I got to the airbrushing on this one. Things that I did touch on were the grills. You can see that those have been darkened. That was putting down a bit of 70% IPA on a brush, painting the grill with the 70% IPA, and then following up with my Winsor & Newton lamp black. Just dripping that in and getting a base coat down in the grill areas. Other things I did paint were the, I guess they'd be the shock absorbers, the snubbers, I guess, on the trucks. I painted those light gray. So here I've switched over to a mixture of NATO brown and flat black. This is just to get a bit more dirtiness on the trucks and on the underside of the locomotive. Yeah, it's a good kind of standard mix to use, the rail brown. Not too much in the midsection here, quite a bit more on the trucks, I guess, in the plow and the rear and the front. I just filled the cup up now with flat black, and this is going in to hit the grills now. I'm just getting rid of the last brown out of the cup, and now it's all black. Going through with a fairly heavy mixture on each one of the grills there, and I will wipe, later on I'll wipe the grills themselves with a Q-tip just to show a little bit of the silver that was there. Now I used to tape all this stuff up before I sprayed, and now you'll notice that there's not much masking tape on this thing at all. I think I only mask for patching and stuff like that. But here I am, I am cleaning up my overspray here just with a Q-tip and a little bit of 70% IPA. Sometimes if you get it fast enough, you can just hit it with water and get it. But I do find that I like this method a lot better than taping. And as you kind of get used to your airbrush, you can kind of get in really close and to be very precise with where you paint. I also find that when you go over an area a couple times, sometimes even 3 times, you create these little anomalies that in some cases look really good. And you'd never get that if you just like one coated it and walked away. Sometimes the screw-ups are where you actually see the interesting bits on the side. Anyway, I've done that a few times and been, happy that I actually made a mistake. So I'm coming near to the end of this video. This one, as I said, was just the airbrushing of this locomotive. I did go back upstairs and finish off doing all of the panel lining and also a lot of the rust work using the oils, the Winsor & Newton oils. So I think the next video I'll push up would be the ST60M, because there was a bit of interest in that. I believe that one was paint and airbrushing, so I'll show that one probably next week. I've been working on a few more locomotives for people. I was doing an RS18U today, and I've got another RS18U coming in, and then I've got a complete custom job to do GTW 6420 again. I've done one of those now, this will be my second one. So yeah, appreciate all the interest in my work, and appreciate all the interest in you guys viewing my work. and I hope I'm not getting too repetitive. Just let me know if I am, and I'll switch it up and do something else. So have a good rest of your weekend. Appreciate if you like and subscribe.